What drew you to wanting to do an anthology?
I've always loved the anthology format, and I have been approached by other anthologies in the past. So, but none of them, I don't know, there was like found footage stuff, things like that, which I'm just not interested in. And I'm more interested in the sort of more classic format. And this one, obviously, because Axelle came up with the idea and she's my wife, so it's kind of, I wouldn't say I had no choice,
right.
But no, it was definitely something. The moment the idea came up was like, I want to be a part of this, because I want to make this kind of anthology movie.
Right.
So,
and what do you love about Halloween in general the most? Like, what do you always look forward to?
It's the best season of the year. We spend the year looking forward to it, and then we like that it lasts like weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's when we have all like the best parties or the best events, or we go to all the horror mazes, or there's just so much going on. And I think maybe it's partly to do with both Axelle and I are from Europe, where Halloween is it's not as big. I mean, it's barely even known in Belgium, where she comes from. In the UK, it's kind of picking up, but not massively. But even then, then you come here, and it's just a totally different thing.
Are there any, now being here, is there any traditions that you follow, like Halloween traditions that every year you like to do?
Well, certainly we go and do the mazes. We have parties. I think every year, we've now started a new one. We go apple picking every year, which is it's totally awesome. So we're just finding these new traditions.
And the last question, because I know there's a lot of people, do you tend to direct movies of things that you're scared of, or that items or ideas that could be fearful to you?
Well, it usually takes me a while to find an idea that clicks. And in this case, it was the same thing. It was like, okay, you have total creative freedom. You can do whatever you want as long as it's based on Halloween. And then you're like, I don't know what to do. I have no thought of a story. I don't know what I can possibly do. So, and then I don't know. At some point, it was just like, what about a pumpkin? What about a killer pumpkin? I've never seen that before. So let's do a killer pumpkin movie. And then it all falls into place. And then I was like, well, is this something I want to see? Well, yeah, because I want it to be gory, and I want it to be funny, and I want to try and get good cast members into it, and then suddenly it becomes a really fun project to do. And I'm like, once those elements fall into place, I'm just like totally focused on it, and that's it.
What got you interested in doing a Halloween horror anthology?
What's crazy is the guy in the bright shirt right there, that's my dad. He took me every year when I was growing up to haunted houses. And so every Halloween he took us to haunted houses, and it kind of instilled the love of Halloween and the love of the macabre. So I credit him for my love of all horror. And in an opportunity to celebrate the holiday, how can you say no?
Absolutely. What do you love most about Halloween?
Everything. The fact that you could dress up and be other people and not be judged for it. I like scary things. I think it's beautiful. I think violence done correctly, macabre, could be beautiful. Not real violence. I'm talking about like old Hammer horror films, the old black and white monster movies. I love. And so I just think there's something beautiful about it. And I love also, I grew up in Kansas, so the way the leaves would change, and it would be like a rain of different colors coming down.
Wow, yeah, one of the best shows I've seen that has done beautiful violence, I guess, is Hannibal.
Oh yeah, Neil Marshall directed some of those.
That's one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen.
I watch every episode of Hannibal, yeah, it's great.
Save Hannibal. Do you have a Halloween tradition that you do with your family?
It used to be going to, I go to haunts every year. I think that's probably it. I love escape games. I love haunted houses. And I travel. I've been traveling recently, going to the most extreme haunted houses I can find. So I'm trying to open one next year. It was supposed to be open this year, called Tension. And it's a extreme haunt.
Is it here in...
We haven't opened it yet. It was the idea. The idea is it would open in LA and then hopefully franchise out to other cities. But we'll see if it actually happens.
And my last question for you is just one out of interest. Do you tend to direct movies of things that you're scared of or that you might be fearful of?
No, it's more things that just intrigue me. Not necessarily what I'm scared of, things that I'm intrigued by.
Awesome. Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Alleluia. I love, as an interior designer, the Devil's Carnival blew my mind. So.
What's better?
So I'm very excited about this. I'm a huge fan of Halloween. What made you want to be part of an anthology?
Well, I mean, it was a really unique experience, honestly, and a unique opportunity. I mean, these are my best friends, you know? It's like, I love these people. I admire these people. I'm happy to know these people. And so the idea to be able to work on something together, I just couldn't pass it up, you know? And there's a pro and a con, to be honestly, working with your friends. It can be difficult at times.
Yeah.
But I knew that despite that it may be a pain at times, that we were going to end up with something cool just because these are really awesome people and they're very talented and I just knew we would work together because, again, they're our friends. They're cool, you know? So.
No, I mean, all of you guys looked so happy and
totally.
hey, we made a movie.
Yeah, well, that was the spirit. We all kept to it, you know, which is great.
Is there any Halloween traditions that you like to keep up?
Well, not as of late. I mean, I have a few, actually. I have a ton. I mean, Halloween, obviously, like any of us, is a really important day.
Yep.
So I would say when I was a kid, the fire alarm just went off, just FYI. When I was a kid, I grew up in South Pasadena, very close to where we are currently. So I would go to the Myers house every Halloween. And, of course, that was lost on all the other 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
But to me, it was the most awesome thing on earth. But they didn't seem to get that. So that was one. Lately, I have we'll see it later tonight. Lately, I have a tradition, or I've been trying this new thing of having Halloween in different parts of the world.
That's awesome.
So I've done New Orleans, I've done Spain, I've done Italy, and I'm trying to think where else. But I have to admit, I'm a little biased, especially since I grew up here. There's no place like LA for Halloween, though. I still think it's the best.
Well, I'm a Boston girl.
Okay,
And
I've not been to Boston.
Salem.
Oh, I
for
bet that's
Halloween.
cool. I need to
So
do
I'm gonna
that.
have to say.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I need to do.
You
Yeah,
gotta do that.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to know, for the movies that you make, when you come up with the ideas, are things that might scare you or that you could be fearful of, or?
I mean, my thing, and I think it comes through in this movie especially, is about fun. Like, I like horror movies that are fun, you know? I grew up in the 80s, and I loved 80s horror movies. I mean, for instance, we just saw The Blob on Friday, the Chuck Russell one, and it's so good, you know? And it's like, I love that tone, which is scary and fun and funny, and so I like kind of crazy monster movies, and I like that kind of energy. So that's kind of what I look for, is the ride.
Awesome.
You know, what's the ride going to be like, you know?
What made you guys decide that you would like to do a horror anthology?
I mean, it really all, it was something, an idea that was gestating with Axelle, the creator of the project. I mean, like she said on stage, we get together and we hang out. And it was a little over a year ago, or not even a year ago, we were at a party, at a friend's birthday party, and it was her, me, and Adam Girash. And we just got to talking, like, we should all make something together. And then Axelle threw out the let's do a Halloween-centered anthology. And literally the next morning, the three of us met for coffee. We're jotting down names of people that we want. And, like, literally within 2 weeks, meetings were happening. And it was the fastest thing, I think, that's ever been put together in this town.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a couple months later, we're in full pre-production and ready to roll cameras. So
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What about Halloween do you love the most?
Well, for me, it was the difficult thing was I was a child in like a fundamentalist family, growing up in like a religious commune. So I was never allowed to celebrate Halloween like for my first 9 years of life.
Boy, does that explain a lot.
Yes, it does.
I grew up a Christian, so...
I think you talk to any of these filmmakers out here, they're going to tell you something similar.
Yeah.
I never grew up,
Oh, okay, so that...
It's true, he never did.
just to be clear on that.
Right on.
So yeah, by the time I got into it, like I'm still making up for lost times.
Yes.
Get off this bridge a little bit too much. It's becoming a fire hazard. Stop, everybody, please separate to both sides of the wall.
Listen to the guy in the mohawk.
He knows all.
The punk fire marshal has come to put us in our place.
Damn.
And that was
Sex
amazing.
Pistols are here to teach you about fire safety.
Wow.
That was the best part of this interview.
That was
Yeah.
the best part of the
Holy
interview.
shit.
That was amazing.
I hope you transcribe all of that. That's awesome.
Is there any tradition that either of you guys do for Halloween?
Well, Andrew goes to every single Halloween event that there is in this town.
Right on.
I hear his stories. No, it's really funny because I am now a grandfather.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. And so the whole time that my kids were kids, Halloween was huge.
Yeah.
Then when they kind of got past it, I kind of went, okay, yeah, this is a thing I really like, but I'll probably just stay home and watch Creepshow. But Andrew goes to every single thing, and and through that, I've been exposed to a number of amazing things. Because I mean, again, this event here, Scare LA, is representative of the enormity of how we celebrate this holiday.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so great when we were planning This Means War, planning our short, to come here and look at all the stuff that people were doing to get inspiration. And in fact, we found one of our stars here who was an animatronic skeleton. What's the name of the?
Skulltronics was the name of the company.
Interesting.
They build these elaborate animatronic skeletons that you can voice activate and animate.
And this is when robots take over.
Yeah. And we saw it here, and we wrote a scene around that.
Wow.
So
He's a main character, Mr. Bones or Mr. Scully. Yeah, he's a main character.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's great, and he interacts with Dana Gould, who's the great comedian.
Yep.
Who voices him and so forth. He plays Boris, who's the old-fashioned traditional horror haunt guy, and James Duvall plays Dante, who's the metalhead with the gore everywhere.
That's awesome.
And the dynamics between those two guys, and as they go off on each other, the dynamics of the entire neighborhood waking up, so there's like 60 people in the crowd jumping up and down and yelling as they're fighting. That was really, really amazing experience.
So for traditions, you said you do like haunted attractions. So have you done Halloween Horror Nights?
Oh, I've been going there every year since I came here, and I spent a lot of time at Scare LA just doing Alone and a lot of the other local tests out here. Because that's how I discovered about half this stuff, was coming here to this convention and grabbing postcards and finding out what the latest haunts in the area were, and going out every year and hitting those.
I'm a Boston girl. We just moved here 2 days ago.
Wow.
Welcome.
Drove across country, and I'm looking for. I'm a huge Halloween Horror Nights fan in Orlando. I've gone 5. This will be my 5th year. I have not done Hollywood, so it'll be. I'm excited, and I'm excited to see the haunts. I review haunted attractions, so
this is the place for that.
Yeah.
We have the best haunts, I think, in the country out here, and like Alone and Delusion and several others are like Halloween Horror Nights and the Haunted Hayride.
I'm excited about that.
Amazing things that you have to do.
I'm very, very excited about Tales of Halloween. What got you into wanting to do a horror anthology?
Well, I love Halloween. I love horror movies. This is the kind of thing where if I wasn't working on it, I would be first in line to see it. So when they pitched me the idea and they said it's all Halloween night, same town, all these filmmakers, did I want to do it? I was like, sign me up.
Like, what's your favorite thing about Halloween?
I mean, it used to be getting the candy, trick-or-treating, and trying to get, because my parents wouldn't buy me candy, so that was my one opportunity to do that stuff. But then it really became about the one night where I could dress up like a monster and become some other creature and go out, in the neighborhood dressed like that. That was so appealing to me.
Are there any traditions that you do every year for Halloween?
Yeah, we watch Great Pumpkin and the Garfield Halloween special back-to-back every year.
Awesome.
I make my friends all love doing it, but anyone who doesn't want to do it can go home at that point.
Bye. And lastly, the movies that you make or that you direct, are they based off of things that scare you or that you're fearful of, or how do you come up with your ideas?
I just come up with stuff that I would want to see as an audience member. I try to, it's like I always want to make stuff that nobody else has done, and had they done it, then I wouldn't make it because I just go see it as a fan, So, and I love monster movies. I can never get it. There's never enough monster movies for me, so I always just try to have fun with it.
What brought Tales of Halloween to light? How did it come about?
Do you want me to? Yeah. I have a lot of really cool friends. I'm very lucky that here in LA there's a pretty fantastic horror community. Just a whole crowd of people who meet at different events and we go and watch movies together and we hang out at each other's house and discuss horror movies and we're all totally obsessed with this stuff. And we all somehow work in horror movies, which makes it really cool. That's definitely finding your crowd and people who share the same passion is the best thing in the world. And I was like, we need to find some kind of way of working together. We need to bring everybody together and do something that celebrates this.
Yes.
And so an anthology movie seemed pretty natural, but we didn't really have an idea to go with it. And at some point I kind of thought, we have the longest Halloween season you can imagine. Like we start with Scare LA already, like last year we were here. And then from September, we have 2 months of full on doing all the theme parks, going to screenings, do all the parties, dressing up. Like it's a 2-month event or Halloween. Wow. So I thought this makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's make something that celebrates this. This is all about the horror community and Halloween and how much we love horror movies. And that's how it came together. And that's how, like, in front of the camera and behind the camera, it's all people who know each other and who absolutely live and breathe this stuff.
What is your favorite part of Halloween?
I love the colors. I love the smells. And when summer starts to fade away and you start smelling that autumn in the air, you have your first pumpkin spice latte. You have the first the pumpkin spice. Like even stupid T-shirts at Target, when they start popping up in stores like that, and you go, wow, the stuff that I care about all year. Suddenly everybody is excited about it. It's fantastic.
Because I'm from Boston, so
nice.
So I'm used to we just moved here 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we drove cross country and just came. I would give you my business card if it wasn't in storage. So everything is, we just came because this is my passion, and it'll be weird to be here for Halloween and not used to the color changing and the leaves falling. But
well, I used to think that I wouldn't like that Halloween in LA would be weird because of that, and because I used to live in London, and so we also have seasons, and autumn's a big deal. It still feels, you can still feel it here. And they make such a huge celebration here too. It's just, you're going to love it.
Are there any Halloween traditions that you do?
Are there any that I don't?
That's the perfect answer. And lastly, the movies that you make, are they, how do you come up with your ideas? Are there things that scare you? Are they things that you make fear? Is that, where do you come up with your ideas for the movie?
For how do I come up with ideas for movies in general?
Yeah.
I guess I'm interested in characters and I'm interested in emotions. I'm less driven by the idea of a monster or the idea of the situation. It's more like, what do I want to express? I want stuff that's going to make people feel something. And here, it was just a very simple, what is Halloween for me? Halloween is spooky fun. Halloween is scaring other people, but nicely. Yes. It's to not, gross them out and tear them to pieces, but to really, just give a good jolt. And this is pretty much what we've done. I think that the biggest thing that could happen for me for this episode would be if this became the thing that you want to show your little sister to scare them. That on Halloween night you go, I can't, you gotta see this, and then you see their reactions, because this is what I'm hoping we've accomplished.